Did y'all see that video recently of there was a cop and he was like walking this girl, teenage girl, like walking her down, and he just picked her up and threw her down.
And body slammed her.
Like, I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, they don't have a gun all the time. I don't understand why somebody just don't follow him home and beat the shit out of him.
Right.
Like, I mean, he's not a detective. He's not gonna carry a gun to the supermarket. Like, just catch him.
It's like back in the day when your grandpa tell you, well, he might have beat you up when he was with his friends, or him and his friends might have beat you up, but if you catch him by himself,
you
can beat him.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way, but I don't get. It's almost like the media sensationalism sort of like protects these people.
That's actual facts.
You know,
who's got convicted of murdering somebody that's unarmed? Not one police officer.
Right.
And we're scared.
What's up, bro?
Who came in there?
Who's watching Star Trek?
It ain't me.
No.
But I was gonna say I wanted to get y'all's say on a couple things, and then it's new stuff happening every day.
I know, right?
Also, we'll never finish it. Also, it's gonna be 8 parts. Also, 2 things for the podcast. Farrakhan, yep, and well, for those who don't know, Farrakhan being ejected from Instagram and Facebook permanently.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing I was thinking about was Steve Harvey. Those 2 things I wanted to bring up in the podcast and see what y'all thought about that.
I mean, like I said, if somebody's personal life catches up with them after being or doing what they do to get that high up in society, I mean, it's on them. But I'll say,
so saying he jigabooed out. So you just saying he jigabooed out.
He was.
Tapped danced his way right out of the thing.
He missed the Bojangles his way on out.
I think that is when you get to be that level. A lot of other black comedians and actors went through that, you know, and it's slippery slope, and you could go one way or the other. And I think he just went the way of hosting Miss America, and didn't he fuck it up, by the way?
He did.
Like, whoever heard of such a thing? Like, how do you fuck up it's written on the card.
That's the only thing you got to say is somebody's name.
Yeah, it's on the
it's
card.
on the card.
Automatically, where they're from or whatever. Like, well, but that's what they wanted. That long suit, I would never wear that suit.
Yeah.
That Steve Harvey collection, he should collect that somewhere else because I would never put that on my back.
I know it.
First of all, he bootlegged Stacey Adams and put his name on the suit anyway. So,
yeah, he did.
Stacey Adams been making them suits like that.
Yup.
Steve Harvey came out with them 10 years later.
Them doggone quadruple-breasted joints with got like 5-10 rows of buttons going down the front that don't even fasten to anything. They just decorative. It just looked like who's the guy who leads the marching band out on the field? The drum major. That's what the jacket looked like. But I will say this on Farrakhan, because this is like, and this is mixed emotions. I don't have mixed emotions about Steve, but the only thing I have against Farrakhan, because I've got friends who are, well, they used to be FOI. I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Maybe. I'm not sure. But
it still is.
It's still me. Okay. Yeah. So I have friends who are FOI. I have friends who are Nation. I have friends who are just straight up, you know, Muslim, who don't agree with most of what the Nation says. But my beef with Farrakhan isn't for recent shit. Like, if I had a beef with him, basically the FBI was watching all those guys, right? There was I forget their name, but you know,
COINTELPRO set it all up.
Oh yeah. It was definitely COINTELPRO for sure. And there was I forget the minister of the Newark Temple. I forget his name, but basically Farrakhan was right under him, and he was super jealous of Malcolm. Super jealous. They all were, but he was back then. He was Lewis X. Okay. And I believe that he was really jealous, and that was his rival. And even though he wasn't in the nation anymore, that was all the more reason for the nation to want him dead. Malcolm's own brothers wanted him dead, 2 of them anyway. So, because they were still in the nation, like two of them had left, and 2 of them were still in there. So, that's my beef against him, because that, and then in the 80s he made that speech about Malcolm getting killed, and he made light of it, and he called him a traitor or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's historical beef as far as I'm concerned. But this current shit, honestly, my opinion is, because I have a lot of, this is a bad thing to say, it's a bad word in North Carolina, but in Massachusetts we say flaky white liberal. My thing is, you can't have it both ways. And I've had a lot of them get on Facebook and say, oh, well, don't feel bad for Farrakhan, and Farrakhan said all white people are devils, and Farrakhan says this and Farrakhan says that, and I'm like, listen, you can't have it both ways. A lot of my white friends are like, oh, he says, you know, all white people are evil and blah 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 blah. You know, it is what it is. I just think you can't have it both ways like that. Yeah, he has rhetoric, which is rhetoric of the nation, which he hasn't said for a long time, but it is Nation of Islam rhetoric. Yes, and it does say bad things about white people as if that's a crime, which goodness knows they've done a lot worse than words of saying bad things about people. So my advice to people whose feelings is hurt is to let it roll off your back. If you're going to be an ally, be an ally. You know? If you're going to be down for the cause, be down.
My thoughts is, are you more offended by words or action?
Right. Exactly.
Because currently, actions are happening to black people that should be offending you, not words.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So.
And I mean, all you have to say is, like, if he's like, oh, well, if you believe that Farrakhan says some shit like, oh, white people are devils, all you have to say is, well, I disagree. I'm not a devil. Okay, problem solved. It's over. I mean, what do we say about all the, you know, all the black folk who were lynched and killed and all this other stuff? I mean, it doesn't compare. And that's why I say you can't have it both ways, because to those who are used to supremacy, equality seems like oppression. And that's the absolute truth. I mean, so that's my thing with Farrakhan. I mean, I'm not going to, again, my beef with him is historical, so I'm not going to come out and, like, jump on his side or whatever. But here's another thing, and this is a mirror to society. Remember when his son was playing ball at Virginia, and they was in, like, I think was the Final Four that year? Notice nobody says shit. Remember, he was at all the UVA, child. I'm not talking about St. John's basketball. This is University of Confederate-ass Virginia. And he had box seats for those basketball games. Nobody said shit. Nobody, and in fact, the announcers on CBS were like, well, there's a young man's father, Louis Farrakhan, and I'm like, that's it? Like, you know, they had the perfect opportunity to say some shit, but they didn't.
They didn't.
Nope. They just let it ride.